my favorite way to develop a strategy for marketing or community building is to look at things like from a bazillion feet up and look at a whole year. So, doing kind of a year in the life. Now, I've talked about this on the channel before about the ways that I like to break down a huge marketing strategy into 12-month cycles. And now I recognize that that might not work the best for every community when we're talking about building out community strategy, but it might be the best thing for your members. Considering that your members are nuanced, unique humans that live outside of your community in their day-to-day, they are likely going to be experiencing a 12-month cycle. Changes in their schedule, their habits, seasonality, things like that are going to be affecting when and how they interact with your community. So I find it really important to look at things from that very member-centric lens, right? What's coming up in their lives? Where does the community fit into that? So to start out, when you're planning a year in the life of your community or doing kind of a larger holistic strategy, it's really important to start with a strong understanding of your members. If you don't know who they are or what they need, this whole exercise is going to be exhausting and not going to lead to really good results. So know who they are, and not just the top level of like, they are 45 years old. Like, let's get a little bit more specific, and also have open lines of communication to get feedback from them. You need to know what their needs are. So start with your members' needs, right? You know them, you understand them, and you welcome feedback from them. That part's crucial. So you can understand their needs. You're actively asking or giving opportunities for them to tell you what they need, okay? Write those out, have a document where you keep those, or you keep feedback, or a spreadsheet, anything, whatever works best with your documentation process. Keep track of what your community members are telling you they need. And now think about like the 12-month cycle. Like, what are they going through during those different 12 months? This can either be through an interview process or just good old-fashioned imagination. Making sure that you're not jumping too far and making too many conjectures of like, well, they're gonna all have kids out of school during the summer. Well, like, maybe they all don't, right? Like, don't jump to conclusions about certain things. So start with the year, kind of map out how your audience, your community members, how do they exist in the world in a 12-month cycle. Then go ahead and write down your community mission statement, your proposition of value. What does the community contribute to the brand or the business goals, business outcomes? How is your community planning to impact or achieve any of those goals, right? So we've got like this document that lists all the things the members need or want, how they want to be supported, kind of a 12-month sketch of what an average member's year looks like, and then a list of the business outcomes or impacts that the community is either planning to have or actively working towards, right? You're going to see overlap. You're going to start seeing places where the brand's needs and the community members' needs might dovetail really nicely. That's the hope, right? You're going to do this exercise and you're going to look at and see where those needs and goals intersect. Because if there are many points of intersection, you're on the right path, right? You're building a community that's meaningful to your members and results in good outcomes for the brand or business, okay? So look at those things, see where those cross points are, and start digging into those, right? So an example, a cross point might be, if you're a community of practice, maybe there's a very important time of year for your community members, right? Let's say you're a community of tax preparers. In the US, a very important time of year for tax preparers would be Q1, the beginning of the year, getting ready for tax day, which happens in April here in the US. Important time of the year. That's important to your members because they are tax professionals. And you, as an organization or an association, you want to support your members through that. You want to be, maybe one of your business outcome goals is that your association is the best at helping audit proof, like you have the best tax professionals in your association that help guide S Corps through an audit experience, okay, right? So you're going to want to be not only supporting your tax preparers that are serving S Corps in that quarter one time, but also throughout the year as perhaps they are helping people navigate an audit. What does that look like for your community? You're going to start to like have the wheels turning of like, okay, so we're going to need to have these resources in place to really serve our community members during this time that's really stressful for them, or it's high work or things like that. Maybe you're going to plan more frivolous content then, stuff that's fun that helps people cut loose from a time that's particularly more stressful. Or maybe you're going to have your all hands on deck really high lift content then to really serve people really well and be present in the community as their questions or needs might be arising. Repeat this exercise frequently, but not too frequently, right? You want to give your content strategy time to grow and develop and see what happens and make those minor shifts along the way. Typically, whether it's a marketing strategy or a community building strategy, I'm looking at and assessing this kind of year in the life picture twice a year, so biannually. And it's been really, really useful. I would love to hear in the comments if you check into your strategy, like, in a big overhaul type of way. Obviously, tweaking content plans, that's going to happen on the fly. But I'm talking about like sitting down, really looking at member needs, community needs, brand goals, like that big picture, overarching strategy. How often do you sit down and look at that? Is it once a year? Is it never a year? Is it every month? I would love to hear it. I'm such a nerd for processes and how different community professionals are documenting these sorts of strategic planning experiences. I hope that made a lot of sense. Drop a comment, ask questions, let's chat about it because I want to hear how you handle your year in the life of your community. Do you even look at it from a 12-month perspective? Blow my mind with what your methods are down in the comments, and until next time, stay badass.